And it is me, that D-O-double-G, and welcome to you and you and you to the Absolute Football Podcast. And just remember that Billie Jean, she's not my lover, she's just a girl that claims that I'm the one. But the kid is not my son. Hee-hee-ho-ho, hee-hee-ha-hoo! But I'm not alone. Samuel, he is my lover. How are you this evening, Samuel?
I'm Billie Jean in disguise. There you go. I'm very well, very well. Lovely to hear another one of your lovely intros. I hope everyone is doing lovely on this Monday evening.
And Sam is my lover, and the one that is my son is Grimmy. Young Grimace, my boy. How are you this evening?
I'm young enough to be fair, but yes, I'm doing well, Josh. How are you?
Just fine. Thoroughly enjoying all the controversies and controversies and however you want to pronounce it, going on the old Twitter sphere, and we'll touch on all that. Don't you worry, we don't miss a thing here. We're on the ball, but let's not kick off with that this evening. Let's not kick off. First, in the chat, who have we got in the chat? Like Spenny fan Chris. He's a bit of news. We'll touch on that later. So don't worry, Spenny fan Chris will be there. Second bit of news: 8 England players have withdrawn through injury for the Nations League game versus Greece, because they're all still scared of Greece, I imagine. And the third bit of news: Gary Lineker is going to leave BBC's Match of the Day at the end of the season. I have had my official approach. They lowballed me, so I told them to go whistle. And you never know, they might decide to step it up a notch and go in for Sam next. And then if they really want to go for it and spend some dollar bills, they might go for Charlotte, but that's a lot of money they're going to have to deal with there. A lot of effort's going to have to go into securing our Shah. So don't get your hopes up, everybody. But good evening, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Cap Alid. Alid is here. Good evening, young man. And Graham, hope you're doing well, sir. Is Simon. And I do... What is this? What is this? He's here. Oh, my days. I panicked then. I thought, shit, we're late. But we're not. He's here. What a pleasure. Honestly, I'm overwhelmed. My whelmed is like overed. I don't know what to do with myself. That is just stupendous. I got lost in the comments. I couldn't make them disappear then. I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you, G. I really appreciate that. Makes you feel really special. And do you know what? On a good note, let's move to another team that had a good note. Wolverhampton Wanderers. What a game of football. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Southampton 0. Samuel, tell us first, how did that make you feel?
A win at last for the Wolves. Finally, they get that. They're getting the green. They've come so close in recent weeks. But everyone's beaten Southampton, so they thought, why not? Let's join the club. Let's be part of it. Very good win for Wolves. I think attacking wise, we've said previous pods, they've been very good this season going forward, but defence has been leakier than a leaky bucket full of leaky holes. But they managed
leakier than your ceiling.
Leakier than my ceiling. Although the plumbing's been done today, so if it's leaky after today, I'm going to be beyond furious. So hopefully that's it. They have, like Wolves, we have cemented the goal. It did help with, I think, a decision to disallow one of the Southampton goals, which I'm sure we'll come on to. But Wolves, yeah, a good win for them. Cunha's at it again. Fantastic finish for the second one. I know Shah's a big fan of Cunha. I'm a big fan of Cunha. 4 goals already this season. I think his goal contribution something like since like last season 28 and 35 or something when he started. He really is a top player for them and done really fantastic. So I think really good. Gary O'Neill obviously under tremendous pressure needed a win there, to try and ease the pain. And against Southampton as well, they needed to put some wins on the board. But I think a lovely story I saw as well, because Pablo Sarabia scored the first goal for them, and I think he got some good karma. Apparently it was Santiago Bueno's birthday in the dressing room at Wolverhampton, and he bought him a Colin the Caterpillar cake, and then he goes out and scores the first goal. So football karma does exist for Wolves.
Oh, that is lovely. I mean, Grimmy, it was a Hakuna Matata for Wolves, and was it the game of no worries for the rest of their 90 minutes?
I mean, to be fair, going into it, I did kind of pencil this down as like a 2-0 to Wolves game. Anyway, I mean, Southampton don't really bring anything much to the table. When I've watched them, there's not really been much about them. So I thought if Wolves can strike the match, as it were, and get themselves going, then they were going to be off to the races with getting some points on the board. But yeah, I mean, Southampton didn't really trouble them from what I saw of the game, and Wolves were pretty comfortable. I mean, they've always looked, like we've said, they've looked good going forward. And is it Sarabia who got the caterpillar cake, or bought the caterpillar cake, or received it? One of the two. Probably had some if he bought it, to be fair.
He was the assister of the Colin the Caterpillar cake. Yeah.
I'm familiar with that man's game, as he's part of my Napoli save on Football Manager. So
Colin the Caterpillar?
Mid, stoic defensive mid at the back.
I'm very familiar with the Caterpillars game.
Yes. Yes. My stomach would suggest that also. But yeah, I think it's for Gary O'Neill as well. It'll be a big relief to get that first win under the belt. And with the running games that they've got, I think they'll probably kick on and be able to leapfrog a few teams in the next couple of games, I would imagine.
Leapfrogging caterpillars. We've got all the animal analogies going at the moment. A bit of Lion King in there. Well, I tell you what else we've got. Look at that. Rebecca's there. Hey, Rebecca, the _queen. She's looking forward to being back soon. We missing you terribly. I think Graham's saying here, he's not used to not seeing you around. Just not used to it. Since you've been gone, there's other words to that song that I just can't remember because I'm not cool enough.
You couldn't breathe for the first time?
Yeah.
Or you can breathe for the first time?
There's something
you suffered
else.
It all?
Yeah. That's the one, isn't it?
Thanks to you. Now I get what I want.
Since you've been gone.
There you go.
Teamwork. #teamwork. Makes the dream work. Hi. all of that just to say hello and that we missed you. Graham was saying Wolves have done it wrong. You have to beat Spurs to get your first win. Everybody likes beating Spurs, but don't worry, we're hitting that bad boy later on as well. And Spenny fan Chris hit on to Southampton will be aggrieved as they had a goal chalked off by VAR, which looked like there was a phantom foul somewhere. You touched on that, Sam. Was it against some Semedo?
Semedo, yeah. Semedo. Not quite Semedo this time. I thought it was harsh. I thought he stepped across and put himself kind of in that position, not really playing the ball. So Southampton, I think, right, for the goal to feel hardly done by, but I don't think it would have changed the course of the game in general. I think, as Grimmy said, they've been a really easy team to play against. And they missed as well. Flynn Downs went off in the warm-up, which is so crucial to how they play. And they've not been playing great at the best of times. So you take him out as well. It's a real problem for them. And they can't score to save their life. I don't know, Cameron Archer, thank God he isn't an archery archer, because he would not be going to the Olympics on current form, I think is fair to be said. But for me, penalty, but I don't think it would have changed the course of the game. And Wolves, I think they made the jest of match of the day. I think they were that to Gary O'Neill going, but you quite like VAR, don't you? So, you're used to getting these decisions. So to be fair, I think he was happy for once.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as well, Southampton, 72% possession, I think it was. I'm going to double check my 72. Look at that. I remembered that. 72% possession, less touches in the box than Wolves, though. So it
no
goes to
shots
show
on target. Zero.
Possession isn't everything. And Russell Martin still, he said after the game, I'm sure something along the lines of he was quite happy with the general play, but just not in the final third. I mean, that's the bit that matters. So he's happy with the stuff that isn't as important. The stuff that's important, they're not rectifying. I mean, and young Grimace, what are your thoughts on is there's this reluctance to make any changes. This is our footballing principles as a newly promoted team. This is what we're going to do. We're going to stick to this. Do you think that's admirable or foolhardy? Or foolhardy?
I mean, it depends on what the powers that be at Southampton want to do. Because if they want to be a club that sticks to that principle and they're accepting that they're probably going down in the first season, but then they're going to keep building this philosophy and keep building a stronger team to come back up, then that's fair enough. If it gets to halfway through the season and they get rid of him and bring someone totally different in who's going to change everything up, it's pointless. And every signal has been is they're going to stick with him, but I get the feeling that a few more games and it's going to be, if they get beat by teams around them or even get battered like Southampton have done by like 8 or 9 goals in a game, because that's certainly possible, then I think that they'll probably jump ship and get rid of him in the end. But if they're willing to become that sort of yo-yo team for a couple of seasons, then by all means stick to the principle and the plan. But it's not going to be good watching for Southampton fans, unfortunately, I don't think.
Because the worst goal difference in the league at the moment, I think the least goals scored, there is indeed the least goals
7,
scored.
yeah.
And still, when you watch their games, nearly all the goals they concede is always from that high line or trying to play out round the back. I mean, Sam, what do you think of these as a local to Southampton? Do you think he should compromise a bit just to try and retain the status, or do you think that there is that comfort level that they're going to be zip-zagging? Because I know they're ahead of the plan. Apparently, they are a season or two ahead of the plan. But surely, once you're in it, you want to give it a good go, don't you?
Well, they've got to stick with it, because I don't think Southampton fans aren't surprised by where they are. If you said at the start of the season, this is exactly how they thought the season would be going. They'd be struggling for points. They were going to get caught with the way that they were playing. They weren't going to be able to have enough quality to use the way that they play against different teams. The noises I'm hearing, though, that they reckon it's about 12 million to get rid of him and his coaching staff, of which that might cause some financial troubles to do it. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit with doing that. But I think he does it. He's got to adjust a little bit. I think I said it early in the season. Last season, when they got through the playoffs, they played like this kind of 5 at the back system, which was a little more pragmatic, allowed teams onto them, and they were quite good at soaking up pressure. They played that really good Leeds team in the final, and they managed that game well. I'm surprised we haven't seen that a little bit more, at least a variation of that at times in games. I'll get trying to stick to your principles. As you said, they're getting caught, and to be fair, they've conceded 21 goals so far. Ramsdale's been quite good, actually. Ramsdale's made some really good saves in some of these games, which is always going to be the case if you're down there. You need your keeper, but the quality's just not there. And it will be interesting to see how, as you say, how long, because the pressure will build. It's easy to say we're going to go with this project and this is what's going to happen, but when you're in the melting pot, you get to November and the league's starting to drift away a little bit. But, it was only a week ago they won against Everton, but their next games look absolutely horrendous. They needed at least 4 points out of these 2 games, because you've got Liverpool, Brighton, Chelsea, Villa, then Spurs.
Oh, well, they got Spurs.
Depending which Spurs turn up,
I thought they were just going to be nothing for one of those games then. Before we went, there's Sean. Sean is in the chat. I hope you are doing well, Sean. Thank you for joining us. And Graham said there was only one stat in that game that matters, though. And there was. It was only the one. And Sean thinks VAR is absolutely pointless. It's meant to improve decisions, not to make them blooming worse. You like that little bit of editing then. And 25, Chris is saying VAR's baffling me at the moment. As per usual, Wolves' second goal looked like there was maybe a foul of the Southampton player before the Wolves' goal. Just don't know anymore. You just don't know. And if you don't know, Chris, how the hell are we meant to know? Come on. But speaking of things that nobody knows, no one understands what's going on, let's head over to the London Stadium. And Spurs won, Ipswich Town 2. A big game at the bottom. Grimace, how did that one make you feel?
Delighted for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich to get the first win. Especially when they were 2-0 up and then Spurs got that goal back. I was like, oh, here we go. It's going to turn again. They're going to do something daft to concede in the last minute like they've done the past couple of matches. But yeah, for Ipswich, it's a huge thing for them, because, they had 5 draws, but a couple of those you'd think we probably should have come out on top. And they lost to Everton as well. Who wants to do that nowadays? You know what I mean? Which I should be careful of, because Carl May retribution will come back and bite me in the backside being a Man United fan. But so I think for Ipswich, it's a huge win, because it kick-starts them a little bit. And again, if they can get a couple more results, they'll start springing up the table and they should be doing fine. For Spurs, it's another one of those where, again, they're only 3 points off the top 4. But again, they could have been right up there with Arsenal and Chelsea and in the midst of it straight away, with obviously them 2 drawing this weekend. And yeah, just more questions than answers really with Spurs in their form at the minute.
And do you know what? Speaking of having a bad day at the office, just couldn't let it go, could you, Gray? You couldn't let that one just slide away without anyone noticing. It is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, not the London Stadium, which is West Ham's. Now, come on. I've also a Spenny fan, Chris Pop. Do you know it's just as well because you reminded me though, because we're there next week.
Oh.
Is it next week?
It is next Thursday. Yeah, we'll be able to. We'll make sure that you make it to the Tottenham Stadium. And
yeah,
not the London
I'll be around West Ham Stadium.
There's a skit to be recorded there. Just like you just like wandered outside the West Ham Stadium, just like, where is everybody?
I'm the winner. I've won everything.
Yeah.
Just by well, you're not going to win anything at Tottenham Stadium. And look, speaking of winners, there is Shah. We've already mentioned you earlier. We were just wondering when I've said I turned down the match of the day team because they were lowballing me. But I think they're coming after you, Shah. They've got a lot of cash to wad around after letting go of Lineker. So who knows? Who knows what's going to be going on? Sam, the EFL man.
I did. I made an appearance.
Has she spelled elf wrong?
No, that's not Christmas yet. I turned into an elf December 1st. But no, I was hosted.
That's what those headphones are hiding.
This is it. Those funky ears of mine. No, it was lovely to be hosted by Shah on Thursday. They're so welcoming on a Thursday. It's very, very lovely to go on and chat everything in the lower leagues where Man United don't mess things up. It's very nice down there.
I did. Here's a good comment from Paul Wheeler. To be fair, it's easy to confuse Spurs with West Ham. Two London clubs who think they're bigger than they are. Hey, I like it. I'm liking that one.
That's not like our Paul sticking the knife in, giving it everywhere.
I like
Go
it.
on, Paul,
I like that.
Give it some.
I do. I enjoyed that one. And apparently, Chrissy Wilder, he's one of their own. Just know that. Just know that, peeps. What game are we talking about? Oh yeah,
Where are we?
Ipswich Town Spurs. Do you want to know an interesting fact which I found? A little factoid. The last time Ipswich played Spurs at Spurs' home ground, guess what the score was?
2-1.
2-1 to Ipswich. Yeah. How mad is that? Back in like 2000, 2002. Some period like that back when I was youthful and this wasn't white. I couldn't grow this probably back then at that point in time. But I mean, Sam, though, wasn't that lovely for Ipswich and battling performance,
battling away. It's always for that promoted team getting that first win. They're looking for that first win. And to be fair, Ipswich have again, another team that have players that can score goals. They have players that can score goals. So Smodic is third, I think. And was it 5 now for Delap? I mean, that one was a little bit fortunate, but they earned it. And their beautiful pink kit as well. It's very rare you see a pink kit like that. To win perfect in pink they were this weekend. And yeah, everyone ripped them off. Everyone was looking at Tottenham to probably turn them over, I think, on the back of last weekend and put loads of Tottenham players in their dream team. Some people did. I'm not naming names, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen for Spurs, and Ipswich fully deserved it. They battled away, and Tottenham looked like they might come a bit late, but they didn't. But Spurs they're just the sublime to the ridiculous, aren't they? It's the Spurs we all know. I mean, their last 6 games. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And the wins have been, they battered United at Old Trafford 3-0. Great, they're thinking, we're showing who we are. And then they go and throw away that victory against Brighton when they were 2-0 up. Then they go and smash West Ham after the international break. And then go and lose a stupid game to Crystal Palace, 1-0. And then they got all excited last week because they go and smash Aston Villa. And then here they are again. So it just seems, whether it's Europe, I don't know, whether they're struggling to maintain it because it's all come after European games, and I think Ange is certainly prioritising cup competitions this year. There's certainly that element because Tottenham fans have been very critical of that in the past.
It's because he said silly things like, I always win a cup in my second season.
I win a cup. Bugger, I better do it. So he's added to the pressure, no doubt about it. But the subs for me seemed weird from him because he brought Maddison on in the 85th minute. Now, unless Maddison's got a knock or something, if you're chasing a 2-1 game at home, that's a bit of a bizarre one. He didn't make a sub to the 67th, and they were a bit flat during the whole game. So trying to work Spurs out from one week to the next is confusing.
It is old medicine. Come on, what was I was going to say something? I keep getting distracted by all of this chat that's going on. There he is, Paul. Sammy Schwartz's bicycle kick special. It was. I don't want to take it away. Any bicycle kick goal you score is a good goal. Was it like the neatest and tidiest bicycle kick? But the space he had to do it as well.
Yeah. Did he smell or something? Because Brennan Johnson didn't want to go anywhere near it, did he? He was like, ooh, I'm not touching that. No, thank you very much. He sort of was like, go on then, see if you can do it. It was a really odd one.
Well, I mean, and I'm not sure what to think of Ange. And Ange has sort of come out and said a little bit, it's my fault. The inconsistency is my fault, with the win, lose, and shake it all about. He's blaming himself for that. I mean, Grimmy, do you think he could take some of the blame? Or do you think it's just Spurs? Is it just something about this club, do you think, that just prevents him from doing well?
I mean, it's a difficult one to answer that because I always remember on the Poch, they used to have similar runs where it would be they'd batter a team one week and then somehow scupper up the next game. And I think part of the answer is yes, they are very much being Spurs at the moment. But I think I don't really think it's at Postecoglou. I think I'm always a big believer of it's the players on the pitch. If the players on the pitch can't carry out the instruction, then it's more the players' problem than it is the manager's fault, because the manager can only do so much tactically and on the sidelines. The players have actually got to go out and doing it. If they're not up to scratch, then I think it's more on them. But again, Spurs are going to Spurs. And Ange has shot himself in the foot with that cup comment. As soon as I heard that, I went, oh, that's a fourth round exit in the FA Cup if I've ever heard one. So yeah.
Do you know where you are?
Yeah. You've got Man City in the Carabao Cup, which is basically their competition. And then you've got everybody who wants to win the FA Cup, other than Spurs, when they get to a semi-final, can drop it every time.
It's like going into a vegan restaurant and going, I always eat steak for dinner.
Yeah.
Not you, you're not me old cocker.
Yeah, good analogy. But the bizarre thing is, despite the table, and despite the 5 wins and 5 losses, they're still only 3 points back. So if they can just stop being so Spurs, they might sort it out and actually push for the top 4. But
just stop being silly.
Yeah.
Don't stop all the silliness. I mean, Spenny fans, Chris said he didn't know Rory Delap had 2 kids, Liam for Ipswich and Finn. Finn is playing for Buxton FC in the National League North on loan from Burton Albion. There you go.
Can either of them long throw, though? That's the question.
Do you know what? How disappointed would you be with your lads if they can't? Because I'd be tempted to sign like a Delap kid just for the throw in. I'd be like, have a go with this. Have this basted turkey. See what we can do with that bad boy. Let's watch him just launch this stuff across the field. Imagine if they're like, or foul throw it. Disappointing time. And incidentally, we did miss in the chat. Cap Allen's going to Turkey on Thursday, which is where the turkey was sitting in my head. That just reminded me that I wanted to mention it earlier. Have a lovely holiday, Cap Allen. They do have YouTube over there, mine. So I don't know if Charlotte will accept that as an excuse for not watching. Just just going to put that out there. But he thinks Johnson has been playing well recently, but just not. And do you know what I think it was? I played my wild card in my FPL this weekend, and I thought Spurs are going to give him a battering, aren't they? So I put Sonny in and Brennan Johnson in. No, thanks a lot. And they was like taunting me by like Sonny had a really strong game and was like creating lots of almost chances. And Brennan Johnson was like almost having a go, but splaffing it everywhere. It was so I'm taking a little bit of responsibility, I think, for that.
You're doing an Ange. I'm taking responsibility.
I took Haaland out. I took Kuna out. Oh, I had a mare. I tell you, it all fell apart for me. It was just disappointing time. But who else was it? Disappointing time down at the bottom of the table. Crystal Palace 0, but Fulham 2. Samuel with his Spenny fan Chris Bayern Munich top on. Bayern Munich top. He's out in there. Samuel, Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 2. How did that one make you feel?
Fulham riding the highs of obviously last Monday. We had that excitement late on in the pod, didn't we? With the Fulham turnaround, double Wilson, and 3 goals now for him off the bench with their victory over Crystal Palace. Should we start with Palace? Palace they're not very good this season, are they? It's not going great. I was trying to have a look, and I looked at the lineup and thought, okay, well, that explains some of it from this weekend. They're struggling with injuries. Eze's obviously out, which is for them. As soon as Eze's out, that's a huge miss for them. But they're the midfield of Mark Gahey and Devaney, one of their young kids. Actually didn't do too bad, the pair of them, considering that was the defensive pairing. But you just look through the team and you're thinking, where are the goals coming from in this side? When Eze's not there, Mateta pops up now and again, but I think is it only Southampton who have scored less goals than Crystal Palace? And also they've lost the centre-back to Fulham, haven't they? Anderson as well. That's a big miss for them. They just seem to be... I've gone like, who's our best players apart from Eze? Off you go. Because Elise's gone as well. I got Elise because there's big sort of figures, but it's just I haven't really recruited anybody, have they? I think
Eddie Nketiah.
Of course, yeah. Who's injured as well?
Goal machine.
What a surprise!
I mean, their injury list is Matthias Franca, Charlie Ryan, Adam Wharton, who everybody thought was like the greatest midfielder known to man, Eze, Jefferson Lerma, Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding, Will Hughes. There's a lot of players missing.
It's a lot missing, but like you look at even their first 11, if you compared it, look at what Fulham have got in comparison and how well Fulham are playing, how that's linked in. You know, you've got people like Smith Rowe, obviously they've taken Anderson off of them. You've got Jimenez has started to step up again. Just who they brought off the bench. You've you got. I think I went again. I'm going to carry on. Anyway. At some point, I'll be back. Adama Traore offers something crazy late on in games if you bring him off as well. And they've got Sander Berg, Pereira holding the midfield. Iwobi stepped up massively this season. It's a good Fulham squad, and Marco Silva's I think quietly been going under the radar. We all talk about, you know, Iraola, and we've been talking about even Thomas Frank with Brentford recently. And we've been saying stuff about Fulham, but Marco Silva's quietly assumed quite a good squad. And they lost Pelinha, don't forget, last summer. So Fulham, they're the example of 2 clubs that have kind of been maybe similar, but Fulham are doing this and Palace are doing this. And I just get the sense this is one of those Palace seasons where everyone thinks they're in trouble until they'll I think Glasner's on borrowed time now. They'll go and get rid of Glasner and they'll pick up in the second half of the season and finish kind of in that high bottom half of the table or something. I mean, they do have Roy Hodgson's number. I'm sure that might be a possibility.
Let the man rest in peace in retirement. My God.
Do you know what? I'm going to make a really dark talk stuff. I'm going in like 10 years' time to be in the same situation until we'll be coming out with this bag full of dust. Come on, boy. Get us going, boy. That's it.
Just roll out the freezer. Just like, right. Time to go again.
He's going to be like Walt Disney, frozen in a fridge. They're just going to wheel him out this big block of ice. Come on, boy, my boy. Let's have a go. Well. Really, what we really want to do. And in the chat, look at this. Claire's there. Hello, Claire. I don't know what show she's on. I think she must have 2 windows open and she's typed in the wrong one. But don't worry, we'll take the compliment anyway. Handsome trio, I enjoy that. She's back from the Holly Bobs. She acts like she's okay, but deep down, she wants to put up a Christmas tree. And do you know what? I was playing Christmas music around Sunday dinner this week, getting in the mood.
After Halloween, you're fine.
Yeah, I thought I'd have a go. I thought, you know, if it's good enough for the shops, it's good enough for me. And if it's
I've had my first Christmas lunch sandwich from Asda the other day, so I was like, right, let's get started.
Oh, do you know, I've had 2 already from Tesco's. I've me turkey and stuff in one, and they did this like chicken with cranberry and stuff in, and then a sausage, bacon, and cranberry one next to it as well. The old mix match. Graham, weekend at Bernie's with Roy. I like that. If you don't get the analogies because you're really young and stuff you for rubbing it in. Grimmy says it's okay, so the Christmas tree's going up because she likes the reassurance. Oh, sick Grimmy. You're gonna get Mr. Jeffs on your back now. Going, what you doing? What you doing, you turd? I got a massive Christmas tree going up in November now. But Spenny Fan Chris is waiting till the 1st of December. Sean's waiting until December 24th. Ah, humbug. Humbug to you, Sean. But Stevie, on the football front, because this is a football podcast, Anderson to Palace, from Palace to Fulham, even was the big reason Fulham. Anderson, underrated. You were saying that, Sam, underrated man.
Mr. Anderson, yeah, super. He was very, very good at Palace, and he's been very, very good at Fulham so far. So great signing.
He is. I mean, and Harry Wilson, Welsh winger, former Liverpool player. I've got all the love in the world for him. I mean, Grimace, what do you think? Glasner is on borrowed time. Do you think they're going to be ready for heave-hoing him out?
I would normally say yes, but I think because of how tight it is at the bottom, 1 or 2 wins here or there will propel you out of the relegation zone. So as long as it stays like that, I think he's okay. I mean, to be fair, before they've lost, the past 2 results were a win and a draw. So it's like, they had a couple of decent results here or there. On the back of 3 losses before that. But again, if he goes on another bad run now and then sort of the Wolves, the Ipswiches start picking up wins, I think that's when Palace will likely go, right, we need to change something here just to try and jolt some life back into the club and into the players. So at the minute, no. But again, it all depends on what happens around them, I think.
Because I just worry, I don't know what you think, Grimmy. Who are they better than? Like, the promoted sides, maybe, but then I'd argue that Ipswich and Leicester are probably better going forward. And I think Wolves are better going. I think Wolves have got the potential to get out of there. They're probably on par with an Everton.
Yeah, I think I would say the relegated teams, the promoted teams, they're definitely better than the relegated teams from last season. Let me tell you that.
They'll finish with more points than Luton this season in the Premier
exactly.
League. Yeah.
The promoted teams, I would say, obviously Southampton. I would probably say they're on par with an Ipswich because, again, Ipswich have the ability to go get goals in the game, whilst defensively Ipswich are a little bit less so. Whilst Palace are probably the other way around, where defensively they can be pretty solid at times if they want to be, but attacking wise, if they're going to win a game, it's a scrappy 1-0 and they've held on for dear life for 90 minutes. So yeah, it will be a struggle, but they have brought money in so that in January they could just go get those 1 or 2 players to make a difference if they needed to. But time will tell.
And I think let's not forget as well, with the tail end of last season, Glasner was doing well at Palace. Yeah, he really changed up the style of play, got them performing better, and then Palace did what Palace do and get rid of their best players. So and then obviously all the injuries and suspensions he's had. So it's not. I think it would just be harsh. I think
They seem to be on a similar path to when they had Vieira, because he had a very good start as well.
Yeah.
And then kind of after, and everyone was, I think it'd be one that everyone will go, that's harsh. But Palace have a bit of form for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main factor at the minute is because of how tight it is at the bottom. If say, for example, they were doing a Southampton, they were on 4 points and everyone was on like 10, 12, and there was a big gap there, I do think he probably already would be gone. But because they're literally 1 point behind Ipswich, who've only just won a game themselves, and again, Palace could win and go above Everton next week or after the international break. So, like, it could all change in the space of a week, and I think that's what they're hoping will happen. And after the international break, maybe a couple of players come back, and it all starts to build again. Because I do rate. Is it Glasner? Glasner?
Yeah, we think it's Glasner.
Glasner.
That's what Sam told me.
Well, if Sam said it, that means it's true. I do rate him as a manager, especially what he did at the back end of last year, because he totally changed Palace and made them a somewhat coherent team in comparison to what they had with Hodgson under the first half of that season. So, yeah, I still think Palace can get themselves out of it. It's just going to take them maybe scraping a couple of results here or there and other teams falling by the wayside. But again, Everton, I don't think are that great, and Ipswich are a bit hit and missy, and they haven't won that many games. So, and who knows with West Ham? Because West Ham, for me, well,
It's like a joke team, isn't they?
Yeah, I think. I mean, that's a whole other podcast discussing whether they should have got rid of Moyes on its own. But
it's not. It's easy. Watch this. No.
Well, people will debate it, but I just think that like 1 or 2 decent results for Palace, and they'll be in a safe space, I think, and they'll be in the fight to stay up. So yeah.
It's a tough run they've got as well after the international break. Away at Villa, home to Newcastle, away at Ipswich will be huge, and then Man City, Brighton, Arsenal.
But they'll do something stupid and beat City and Brighton back to back. Like they'll be nowhere near it, and then Eze will come back and do a Zaha from like the mid 2010s and score like a hat trick or something stupid, and then Palace will be like, "Oh, what were we worried about? We'll be fine." It's like
Mark Gahey in midfield is the answer.
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
And bring Slot back; he'll do it.
I mean, Stevie saying in the chat, Wharton is struggling not having some of the players that were from last season. But Graham just wants to collectively laugh at Palace. Which Chris wants to join. That's me. The only team I can recall this podcast laughing at is Chelsea last season. We don't laugh at teams, but you can. You can enjoy it. You can embrace their pain. And out of the chat, King of Corwin is Harry Wilson, the North Walian. You gotta love it. And I think Marco Silva was asked, what's he got to do to start a game? You know, because two games he's come on a sub, 2 games he's scored. What's he got to do? And he basically said, can't start. We got so much competition around here. He's doing the right things, but you know, a lot of so basically, Harry, just embrace being super sub, mate. And what you want to do is cut Iwobi's hair, because he's a bit like Samson at the moment with that beautiful long hair, and he's playing like a beast. Cut his dreads down, and you might get in the squad. But I'm enjoying Fulham. I sort of feel for Palace. Another game in that relegation battle. Manchester United 3. Leicester City 0. Rude boy Van Nistelrooy's last game signing off with a great big win. And Graham saying in the chat, no arguments over the red card for Crystal Palace. My only argument was it's very similar to Martinez's challenges for the last couple of games, but he's all good. Rude's all good. It's all good in the hood. Samuel, Grimmy, whoever wants to go for it, I'll let you guys bask in your victory. Last of your legendary Rude boy before he gets moved on. Who wants to tell me how that makes them feel? Fight it out, lads.
Go on, Sam.
Go on then. It makes me feel it's nice to have a bit of positivity. I think the one thing this has allowed, I think, by having that kind of interim while Amorim's coming, is not that pressure of Amorim's. We've got that to come. We've then got very good Graham, very good.
Interim to Amorim.
And it's just allowed us to kind of it's allowed Rude to get a bit of good time feeling. I like the fact that, you know, he goes away, club legend still there. That connection with the fans. It was kind of, you could see the emotion from both sides at the weekend. Because obviously, you know, the last time we kind of we had the Solskjaer thing. We all love Solskjaer, but then to have him as manager and to see it, it's sad. It's sad to see a player kind of go through that. So we've kind of we don't have to do that because Rude's got a perfect record almost. 3 wins, one. He's the best manager since Ferguson. It's official. It is official.
The best Man United manager ever.
Exactly. You can't beat that 75% win percentage. That's insane.
And like Sam Allardyce in England.
Yeah, and I think the Rude thing. I mean, obviously, it's been announced today that he will be leaving. That he is going to be not join. And I think probably for him and the club, I could see both sides. One was like keep him on to try and keep that continuity, but then if there's not a place with Amrit, it's just going to be a fraction and cause issues. Maybe you don't need it. There's no reason why in a few years that he couldn't come back. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got the possibility to go into Europe, go and build something, do something to step him up, and then potentially, who knows down the line. But yeah, really good for a 3-0 victory. Nice to have a comfortable kind of afternoon in exchange to the usual scratchy, worried, what's going on here kind of afternoons. Bruno Fernandes scoring was nice. Nice to see him get one. Lovely goal from Bruno. He tried for the second one, but sorry, Bruno, you were never going to get that one. Never going to get that one. And nice to see Garnacho, because obviously we had that ridiculous stuff on social media with Garnacho last week, which was just silly, just silly. So lovely for him to score. And look, because of the way the results are, which is crazy, we're 4 points off third somehow, despite being completely awful. Now, after the international break, we've obviously got a pretty hard reset because it's very difficult as a manager to come in and start at that point. And secondly, if he wants to implement what he knows and what he wants to play, it's completely different as well. So, I mean, it's going to be exciting to see what happens when he comes back, how he's going to play, what he's going to do, bearing in mind that it's an international break and he probably hasn't got half the team with him either. So, yeah, for this week, it's nice. It's nice to have a win. Nice to look up the table and go, oh, it's not that far away. Maybe brighter skies are ahead.
Dare to dream. You've got if you never have a dream, you'll never have a dream come true. Craig saying silly stuff on social media. Surely not. Do you know the best thing that I saw about that? For anybody that didn't see it, it was one of those fans accounts on Twitter decided to go to the ground and just say to Garnacho, how about a better touch? How about more thought on the ball? What about some better passes and better finishes? And then they had the audacity when he got called out about it on social media to say, hey, if it takes for me to get into a player's head for it to make the difference for him to score a goal, I'll do it every week. Insinuating that somehow him being a total dick is why Garnacho scored. So, as Claire will say, hashtag don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Silly Billies. And what else have we got going on in here? Stevie Lee's asking, did Sir Alex have to pay for his own ticket on Sunday? I'd imagine so. No, I think that gravy train sailed, don't it?
No, he doesn't have to pay for his own ticket.
I'm sure he found a way.
Just because he didn't have to pay for his own ticket. They said straight away he doesn't have to pay for his tickets because they knew people would ask.
Yeah, so have a little bit of that. Graham's asked how many injuries will he get over the international break to give Amorim a proper United welcome. But he's coming out. Sam, you've already touched on there's a big difference in style of play. And Grimmy, what do you expect when he comes back? Do you think he's going to go all guns blazing? You'll have new manager bounce. You'll be playing this beautiful, fast football with your three at your back and. Because you've got three good central defenders that can play that sort of style, obviously. What do you think he's going to be straight in there making that difference, or could it take a while?
I think he'll be pragmatic about it because he's already said in press conferences that he can't go in and play the same way with the squad that we've got. I think he could play free at the back, but I don't think it's going to be this wham bam thank you ma'am style that he does at Sporting. I think it's going to have to be a bit more pragmatic, and that's the way he'll go. Also, there's potential that Euro is back. Well, I say back, we've never seen him, but he'll be available.
He's there.
He's there, available for the first time. So there's a potential that him, De Ligt, Martinez have a back three there, ready and waiting to go.
No Maguire?
Well, Maguire is an option. I think in a back three he's a lot better. Same with Johnny Evans. He's a good option in the back three as well. And to be fair, Johnny Evans has played well any game he's played for us, really. So I can't exactly complain with that. But I do think that he'll have to be more pragmatic. And he is, I think are we away to Ipswich the first game we're back as well?
Yeah.
So that'll be like, everyone will be going.
Chris said.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate the information. I wasn't sure. But everyone's going to be going, well, Amorim's the new guy in, facing the guy that they could have had in the summer in Kieran McKenna. Oh, and that'll be all the build-up. And then we'll end up losing 2-0 to Ipswich. It's like, here's what you could have had. And it's like, great, here we go. The merry-go-round continues with United. But, yeah, I mean, in terms of Amorim himself, I'm actually excited to see what he can do. I just hope we give him time, which I'm sure they will with him being the first appointment, but we'll wait and see.
No, this is my only nervousness is that And I know you'll take it the wrong way, so I can't know. But it's been a bit like Man United has become the graveyard of football managers' careers. It's like if you want to diminish your career and standing as a manager, United seems to be where you go at the moment. And I'm
Unless you're Ruud
hoping,
van Nistelrooy.
unless you're Rude Boy Van Nistelrooy, exactly. Maybe interim's the way to go. If Ollie never signed that full-time contract, he'd still be amazing. No,
He'd be a 5-year interim manager.
I know, and he'd just be amazing. But that's my only, because it has been just, I don't know what happened. And again, I mean, as Sam, I think we spoke in the summer. I think it was in the summer. There was a huge amount of changes that we felt needed to be made in that squad and in the team and all around. So there is, and Stevie said he thinks fixing United will probably take a long time. And I'm with, even as a Liverpool fan, I hope we just do good, because I'm bored of United doing like so yo-yoing and being pap and either having really good games against us or really crap games against us, because I don't know whether to get excited for it or not.
Let's put that into context. We have one game every 2 seasons against you, which we play semi-well and manage to get a result. That's the run of form we have. We haven't won at Anfield, I think, since Van Gaal. So, like, let's put that into context right now.
It's hard. It's hard, though, isn't it? Winning at Anfield, it's not for everybody, lads. Go on, no. That's not fair.
Unless you're Nottingham Forest.
Well, do you know what? Spank was, apart from Newcastle, they struggled against Newcastle. But I'm with you. I hope they give him a bit of time and he's allowed to do something. And I think Graves' comment tickled me. With Dallo player, they've been playing 3 at the back anyway. But I have Sam. I mean, I've seen you commenting online. You've been enjoying a little bit of Maz Wowie.
Yeah, I like Maz Wowie. I think he's a very good, intelligent footballer. It's nice to kind of have a player that we have a lot of people that likes to give the ball away regularly, and Maz Wowie prefers not to. It's a good trait to have, I think. Whether that's
everyone else did that.
Yeah, I mean, that might be as Grimmy will get this is football manager trait, maybe likes to not give the ball away. I think is a good one to have. He's played on the right, he's played on the left. He's got me dream team points. He could have had an assist had Bruno actually not shoved it off the bloke's shoulder. He would have had an assist at the weekend and play him either side. And for us to actually do a bit of business, there wasn't a lot of money. And that was a signing. We haven't seen that, I don't think we've made a signing in God knows how long where they've improved or they've looked to be more than the sum of their parts in terms of what we paid for them. And Mazraoui does that for me, so I like him. And I think on the manager side of things, you said like it has been difficult because it has been a graveyard for. It's kind of been a graveyard, but it's kind of been, Mourinho's still gone on to stuff. Van Gaal was at the back end of his career. I think, say, Solskjaer for Ten Hag will be interesting what happens with him next. But it seems to me to be at that position. They've done the stuff behind the club, and we don't know whether that's the right things yet. They've made decisions, and we'll wait and see what that happens. But they're probably looking to try and find that appointment like Liverpool had with Klopp. It's very similar, I think, we're at that stage because you had that sort of manager stink before that, didn't you? Sort of Hodgson and a few others that didn't quite. And then they allowed Klopp the kind of time to build in while your recruitment then was excellent at the same time. And those two things suddenly jumped that massive, massive thing together. Now, very difficult to come into United and to do the same thing. What Klopp did at Liverpool was amazing. But that's the hope. That's what they've got to aim for. That's what they've got to hope he can do. So, yeah, and look, he's a bit charismatic and all the rest of it. It's
very handsome.
He's a handsome man. Off the back of Ruud, who was looking incredibly handsome in recent. I don't remember Ruud ever being. I don't remember him being a looker, and somebody turns up with that turtleneck and the jacket. Yeah. Think, Ruud. So I'm liking it, enjoying it. So
it's because he got rid of the 90s, 2000s curtains that everybody had, and that makes a difference, doesn't it? That.
It does make a big difference.
You did the same thing as well, didn't you, Josh?
I used to have lovely curtains, down to by here. Beautiful. I couldn't do that now.
Done in Mill, they were, Grimmy. Done in Mill.
I tell you what, I love them curtains, but I tell you what, them buggers are properly gone now. Well, I say they've got just the partings got much wider. So I got my
so wide, in fact.
7-inch parted now down the middle, and I just got rid of all the lead. This devastated. A little bit more like Ten Haggy rather than a Mood Boy Van Nistelrooy, unfortunately. Do you know what, it reminds me a bit of you though, Sam? I think he's got a bit of the Sam going. What did I call him?
He's got a couple of notches on me, to be fair.
I don't know. I can't remember. What did I call him then? Did I get his name wrong? I don't know what I said. Amorim?
I think you were right. Amorim. Amorim.
Stone the Crows. And Gigi was saying in the chat, she'd love to see Rude back in United one day. And Amorim. Isn't he the bad guy in Lord of the Rings?
Dear me.
Hey, look, I tell you what, on fire this evening, absolutely on fire. I mean, we'll quickly, I tell you what, I think there's only, we've looked at all the games that influenced the bottom. So obviously Leicester then keeping them down in the relegation battle on 10 points. It's only 3 points ahead. It's all very tight on the bottom. But one team that was pushing away at the top, the victory over Aston Villa, was Liverpool 2-0. The official of that game has come under a little bit of fire recently, ironically. I don't know if anybody's seen him. I mean, David Coote, if you haven't seen what he said, I can't repeat it on here because, we do occasionally push the boundary of what's acceptable to say. I think some of his turn of phrases that he used would probably be a little bit of a final nail in the coffin. So you'll have to go on to social media and find that video of what Mr. David Coote said. But essentially, he made some derogatory remarks about Jurgen Klopp and his nationality, gave a rather negative opinion on his thoughts of Liverpool and the players there, except for James Milner, who he seems to have an affinity for, which I don't blame him. I also have an affinity for James Milner. But as a result, obviously, it's brought himself into a little bit of disrepute and questioned his professionalism. So, you could check that video. Don't watch it now. Just take our word for it that he said some very silly things. And to start with you, Sam, it looks like it's being investigated by the PGA MOL. Allegedly, according to the newspapers, it's gone from him denying it's real and saying it's AI to saying, oh, yeah, no, I accept it is real and I just can't remember doing it. Spenny fan Chris sort of sums it up a little bit. What a plonker. I mean, what are your thoughts on David Cootgate?
David
Cootgate.
David Cootgate. Yeah, it's not a good look, is it? It's not a good look. I think the reality is, like, we're all people that can say things and certain things and stuff, and sometimes in certain scenarios you say, oh, I should have said that, it was a bit much. I think it does seem crazy naive in the circumstance it was. Camera in front of him, we don't know what the major circumstances to that, whether there was any influences allegedly, who knows? So we can't really comment on that. But I think it's got caught in having an opinion, which is fine. Everyone's a person. I'm sure all referees have opinions, and they have clubs. Probably they go, "Oh, was that one?" Or there's, and that's fine because I think that's nature. That's human nature that you're going to feel those things. But you can't say it, and if you do say it, you can't be caught saying it. And certainly the big one for me. Look, he's gone and he's had a go at Jurgen Klopp. Okay. That's not good. That's going to bring all the Liverpool fans on you. They're going to look at every decision you've ever had. It brings the distribute, the question of the bias. You can't have that. Bringing the nationality in is ridiculous. Like that takes it another level in terms of your kind of your personal approach to it. But they can't have it. You can't have it because it's something that he's going to pay for now. And probably I feel a bit sorry for that aspect a bit because it probably isn't in the context that he wanted it to be. But it's a video from years ago that's kind of surfaced, and he's been talking about something that you can't talk about as a referee. You can't say it, whether you believe it, you don't believe it. You can't say it and continue to be a Premier League referee because it brings the question in. And I've already seen it. Liverpool fans have been going through every single game he's ever officiated. Or we gave that throw in the wrong way, and every single thing. So there's just no way now that it can't happen. And so that's kind of his career. And yeah, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Because even I tried to remain sort of quite balanced on things, but the first thing I thought was, I'm sure he was either the official on the VAR when Jordan Pickford tried to end the career of Virgil van Dijk, and nothing happened. And I think it was that game where he said he didn't card or anything Pickford because he had put a check in for an offside and didn't realise he could also make another decision at the same time, is what he said allegedly. But even straight away, those things come to your mind, and like you said, you've got to have, it's a bit like in wrestling, you have this suspension of disbelief where you know it's not real and it's premeditated, but you put yourself in that world to think that it is, so you can enjoy it. It's a similar with referees in that they've got opinions. Most of them probably don't like Man City because nobody likes Man City. Some of them might not like this team. They might not like that team. But they need to have this perception of impartiality that you can think, do you know what? He might not like them, but he's professional. And he's going to treat this down the line professionally. And the minute a referee comes out and says, yeah, them lot of crap, I don't like them, I don't like him, that's gone then. In the same way that, like in wrestling, when they come up and said, it's not real, it's all a show, this is a little bit like that curtain being raised for me, and that actually they really do have their own opinions. And this guy really has said he doesn't like it. And Sam said that there's a likelihood that you could face quite severe punishment now. I mean, Grimmy is Graham saying in the chat he can't see how could referee at any level after this again. I mean, obviously, I think Liverpool games you wouldn't be able to do really. Maybe some teams are competing with them. But even for me, at European level, would they take on a referee that has had this sort of allegation, this like thrown against him? I mean, do you think that he's going to have that level of punishment? And do you think it is fair and you just have to suck it up?
I mean, for me personally, if I was the person in charge, and thank God I'm not, but I would probably suspend him for a short period, or maybe for like the rest of the season, and then maybe bring him back in via a lower league, maybe the Championship or something like that, and just keep him out of the spotlight as far away from it as possible, and rebuild from there. Obviously, he's never managing anything remotely to do with Liverpool or top of the Premier League games again, or cup games or anything like that remotely anywhere near that again. I do obviously. I think what you and Sam have both said is exactly how I feel about it. The one thing I will say, not to defend the guy or anything like this, I don't want it to be coming across as defending him, but I think there is a point that has to be made that referees, regardless of what level they're at, get, I was going to swear there, tons of abuse off these players and managers, and Klopp gave it as good as anybody, if not more so at times, and it was to such extremes at some points where I thought he should be getting sent off here, and none of the referees really did with Klopp. He didn't. If he did get any send-offs, I'd be surprised. But it's one thing to have the opinion, of course, and it's one thing to put it out there. And he did say in that second clip, like, that video isn't to go anywhere because it'll be done for basically, and it's ended up going out anyway. But I do think there is a thing of that the referees wouldn't view these or have these opinions if there was that level of respectability from the manager and from the players, because the referees have such a hard job dealing with players on a week-to-week basis with the sheer amount of abuse they get, not from players but from fans and managers, that it's like, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised the fact that it's got out. But I'm not surprised that maybe that his opinion of those managers and those players is that type of opinion. Because if I was doing my job and someone came across and was shouting bloody murder at me, I know for a fact I would walk away at the end of the day and go, what a tosser that they are. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I'm not saying, and again, when he brings in his nationality into it, it goes to another level that I can't defend. But there is a thing of that eventually these people will get worn down by what these people are receiving on a weekly basis. And I think referees, worse than any other profession in a sporting capacity, especially in English football, get it worse than most. And I just think that, yes, he should be suspended and he should be demoted and all that thrown at him. but there still has to be some sort of understanding in terms of how it can affect referees mentally, in my opinion, because I guarantee referees will make bad decisions based on what they are getting and the environment that they're put into, and they are in a no-win situation because of the fact that they're handcuffed and they can't respond to anybody. Like they can't turn around to a manager and tell him where to go. They've just got to stand there and take it and not say a word. So it's kind of like it's not a surprise when people have bad things to say about people like that. But again, you can't have it anywhere near put out into public domain, whether it's through a quotation or video recording or whatever. You can't have that. And yeah, you should have the book thrown at him.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. It is a bit of a lonely job being a referee because I think, and I'm sure we said it last season because there was so many just horrendous refereeing decisions last season. I think there's definitely a massive training issue that they have got because it's hard. I imagine being on your own on the pitch is very difficult to get all those decisions right. And as you said, I mean, if you saw a lot of the coverage from the Liverpool Aston Villa game, the atmosphere was bumping. It was absolutely bumping there, and that's going to influence you. And ironically, I think Liverpool got away with them with Conor Bradley's shit pulling in a free kick at the end of the game, which was on, which I thought was quite ironic. But you'll be influenced by that, and the fact that even though they've got VAR, it's still not backing them up adequately because there's so many mistakes being made there. So it is a bit of an isolated ball that they've got, and it's hard, and pressure's going to get you. And you need to vent. It's a shame that obviously he didn't pick his friends in that circumstance particularly well. And to those people, I mean, if it's somebody that he knows, it must be somebody he knows in his circle that has leaked that out.
Yeah, it can't.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you because you've destroyed a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
For what I don't know, because it went out on social media, so it ain't like you're getting paid for it. So you just destroyed someone's life. So if you can sleep at night, then it's more about you than anything else. I think Graham's in the chat. If you don't want a controversial video being put out, don't say controversial things to begin with.
I found the context of the videos really weird as well because it's like I get like, and we do a podcast and we do and you're talking and we've said an awful lot of stuff over the 2 years we've done a podcast in terms of general stuff. You can't even remember some of what you said because of that context. And sometimes there is, we do it in this aspect. We talk football. We try and make it entertaining if we can. And sometimes you push the boat out and you say things a little bit closer to the line to try and never done that. Never ever have we seen that. But this is just kind of like it's just in his face and almost like a setup job, isn't it? It's very weird. And just to take Grimmy's point on the referees as well and the abuse they get, I think we all get frustrated by it. The standard of refereeing we all know it's not good enough. We're all frustrated by it, but also think that it's a catch-22 because why the hell would you want to become a referee? Why the hell would you go, this is where I'm going to see my career and where I want to do? And if I could imagine, say you're a parent of a kid and they're saying going to be a referee, you're just going to get abuse and you're going to get pushed back. Even if you do a good job, you'll never do a good job because you're opposing fans. It's
like being a traffic warden, isn't it?
Exactly. It's you have to be a really kind of to get something internal from it and something that drives you to do. Obviously, we know Gav Mack that comes on the podcast now and again. He's a referee, and I think he said, it takes a certain kind of character that is ready and willing for that. And for me, like the small amount of people you have that want to do that, then you're dealing with a really small amount of people to then try and find the best. And, it's the same as like the Olympics, when you have countries that have millions and millions and millions of people to choose from, they tend to do better than St. Kitts and Nevis in most of the competitions because sadly for St. Kitts and Nevis, they don't have the same pool of people. So I think there is an element of that and it is difficult and this won't help. Because everyone going, Jesus Christ, I can't say anything, particularly in this age as well. We're now getting in the age where everything is being recorded and videos and people use stuff against each other. And it's a scary, scary time.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Grimmy. I hope he gets a suspension but is allowed to referee at some level. I mean, I think, and in fairness, I'd like to think even he knows his time in the Premier League. In reality, it can't happen. He can't manage a referee at this level. Certainly not for the foreseeable, because any decision he makes at all, right or wrong, is going to be under massive scrutiny and it's going to be questioned. So I think it's going to have to. But I hope it doesn't end his career from, because like him or not, and I've never been a fan, and I do think he makes some howlers, but you wouldn't want that to happen to someone.
Well, I've always been, again, in the right circumstances, I've always been a believer in, getting that second chance to rebuild it. And I think if you, by demoting him, whether it's a Division 2, 3, whatever you decide, it gives him that ability to build that trust back up again. And then I'm not saying he's ever going to get back to that upper echelon of Premier League refereeing, but at least he can still have the career doing something he obviously wants to do. And of course, he can put statements out and do whatever and show that he's learned from the mistake or whatever. But there's got to be some sort of rebuilding of that trust there at some point. But we'll see if he gets given the chance or not.
Yeah, got well. And Graham's what has he said in the chat there? It's a good job we've got Josh here to make sure nothing controversial or inappropriate is ever said. So I keep everyone in tow, make sure nothing wild or outrageous is ever said, or any weird accents or making fun at team names ever takes place. We're all over that here. Make sure it's all done. But what it did, it does overshadow the match a little bit, but that's okay, because it's just
Liverpool
the routine Liverpool victory. We do what we do, control the game. We don't have to come out all guns blazing. We control it. It's ours. Football's ours at the minute. It belongs to us. We're going to have that. But before we sort of move on, was there anything you wanted to add, either of you, on Liverpool's wonderful game of football?
Nah.
Really, you punished Villa, didn't you? You punished
Darwin Núñez should have had about 15 goals, but
I know.
God,
it's Darwin again in a nutshell, isn't it? He's sublime.
If you had a striker like Darwin Núñez who could actually hit the target like 9 times out of 10, you'd have won the league by now.
What's crazy is his movement is exceptional at times. His reading of the game is exceptional at times. Now and again, there's a finish, you go, whoa, and then 2 minutes later, he's through on goal. You think, oh, he scored a goal already. He's feeling good, and he's hit Rose edge and through on goal. And you're thinking, what is this guy? He is an enigma. It
is like the next shot, the exact next one looks like exactly the same shot. Yeah. But it's just over there instead. He's like, cracking some poor kid in the face with the ball instead of like drilling it into the net. Like it's just it's bewildering. It's absolutely. There's Greg says Núñez he scores the hardest chance, misses the easy one. Julie thinks he's one of I love him. Oh God, he is. I think I've said before. He's like, when you Sam will understand this. Grimmy, I don't think you're there yet. But when you have your kids, you'll have if you have 2, one of them will be a lunatic, and they'll be like, you'll be holding them, and their little legs are going like this. And you're ready, okay, go, and then they're like boshing into things. You got to pick them up and direct them. Look like, no, here you go, there you go. This is the safe space, and that's what he's like. He's like this little kid just running around doing everything.
Is it like presenting with one calm one and one lunatic? Is that what it's like?
Yeah, I'm the lunatic and Josh is
exactly that's exactly. And you just want to pick him up and hug him and say, "Oh, Darwin, you like the little rascal." But at the same time, you want to say, "Jake, we spent loads of money on you to bang goals away. What are you doing?" It's hard. I'd see what he said. Someone's whispered in his ear that there's a Spartan fan on the pod. Is it a Spartan fan?
I don't know. Maybe. Who could that possibly be? I have no idea.
Yeah, with a hoodie and a pair of shorts on, I noticed. He's always getting them legs out, I tell you.
Yeah, an excuse.
Look, right. When you've got it, Sam, you've got it. You know what I'm talking about. When you've got the legs, you've got the legs.
Flaunt it. You be you, Grimmy. You be you.
And I think his OF link is on his Twitter account, so you can get onto that, people. But what we've been talking, I have been trying to access the Google slides, but it ain't having none of it. StreamYard is not allowing me to do that, so I'm going to try what we did the other week and share the screen to see if that's going to. Yes, it is. Thanks a lot, StreamYard. If you pick anything up, you are making it really, really hard work at the moment. But this is the Premier League as it is, with Liverpool still at the top. What are they now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's five points ahead. Man City at the moment. I saw somebody at the moment say, if Liverpool lose this, it's the biggest bottle job ever. It's not. It's 5 points. It's 5 points, lads. And that's Man City in second place. By the way, which we didn't touch on. They did lose. Again. Is it four they've lost recently over all competitions?
4 in a row, isn't it? 4 in a row.
Ooh,
love a cheeky 4 in a row, don't they, City?
With Brighton, just they're still doing bits this season, aren't they? And I take their striker out. Scores a goal. Incidentally, I put Højlund in on my wild card as well this week. That's why he didn't score, because everyone I put in just had a bad game. So sorry, sorry about that. But Sammy, are you enjoying a bit of Brighton and Hove Albion?
Brighton Hove Albion, yeah, I know. Two goals to turn it around against City. City are struggling, aren't they? A little bit of a struggle.
Could have said that with more joy in your voice. They're struggling.
The problem is, as United fans, and Grimmy will probably attend to this, is you go, oh yeah, it's beautiful. Look at Man City, and then you go, oh no, look how far Liverpool are getting away. I don't know what I want. This is all too confusing. It's all too emotional and not what I want. But I have to enjoy and I have to enjoy the fact that it is tough at the minute for City. They are. We all thought Rodri would be a miss, but it's proving to be pretty big so far. They seem to be really even. They seem to be really easy to play through at the moment. Really easy to play through. The press isn't quite right. Teams are finding gaps, places. I mean, they had some injuries at the weekend, but so does everybody. And I think that did make a difference. Guardiola had to go in the middle, and they had, was it Simpson? I don't know how to pronounce his second name, so I'm going to go with Bousset. Is it Simpson Bousset, the new guy that they've got sent about the young lad?
Try all the pronunciations. Do them all.
Why not? Chuck it all. One of them will stick. It's not quite right. It's not quite right. Pep's alluded to it. It's not quite right. De Bruyne is coming back, though. There is Bernardo Silva coming back. Yeah, the whole thing with Van Heck, that thing. Just
get a grip, mate.
Just get
it's Pep. That is classic Pep, trying to avert the attention from what's happened on the pitch to get it onto him and take the pressure off the players. It's classic Pep.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I mean, another manager I'm not a fan of at the moment was Arteta throwing himself on the floor. It's all about you, Mikel. It's all about you. And throwing himself on the floor like we were talking about children earlier. There's another child analogy, stropping on the floor when they can't score a goal. Do you know how to remedy that? Get a striker. Who knew if you wanted goals, get a striker? Who knew? Grimace, you were going to say something. I've cut you off. What are you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, just don't let it be Darwin Núñez if you want consistency.
This is true. And he let Eddie and Nketiah go. So,
well,
he's brought it on himself, really.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is like they got linked with so many strikers during the summer, didn't they? There was Tony, Isak, there was one other, and my head's blanking right now, but like they had so many options. They could have got Tony for like 30-40 million, and they probably would be there or thereabouts with Liverpool right now if they had someone like that. But yeah,
I think it's proved with Odegaard coming back this weekend as well. It's just like how crucial he is to that team, because they looked toothless and it was pretty level at the weekend. It was his first game back, and he still had that fantastic assist. But he's the one guy I think that can do something that bit different, and he opens Saka up. Not having Odegaard and not having a different way of playing or option, and that just kind of shows you can't have. We all have those players that are so crucial to the team. You've got to have a different way, particularly when you're up there. There's times they're not available. You've got to go and win a competition without them. We've all had it in the, Grimmy will remember we didn't have bloody Roy Keane or Paul Scholes in a Champions League final. You just had to plug gaps with different holes and get through it. And they haven't been able to do that without Odegaard. They've been struggling to create. And if Saka hasn't been involved, nothing's really happened for them.
It helps if you've got a better manager, mind, with plugging the gaps like you guys had to in the Champions League final. Just pulling it out there helps to have a winner.
But this is what I don't. This is what I don't understand though about modern managers is they complain so much about player injuries, and it's kind of like you have a squad of 25.
That's why you have 25.
Yeah, you have 25 players to use. You register 25 players, use them. They're there to be used.
5 subs you can use in the game as well. 5.
Yeah. Like Fergie in that treble season probably didn't use more than 18 or 19 first team players. Like with injury, like Beckham didn't have a backup right midfielder. So if we lost Beckham, we didn't really have anyone other than Solskjaer who could maybe play a game there once or twice. But apart from that, that was about it. And nowadays, if someone goes out, it's like, oh God, what are we gonna do? Like, it's just.
And Arteta's playing them into the ground as well. Like, he only made 3 at the weekend, but like Saka's been injured for the last 17 games. I've seen him hobble off. He hobbles off of every single game.
I was thinking with Saka, every time Arsenal don't play well, he hobbles off. When they're winning, he always seems to be able to make it through. I think just if you're not playing well, let him come off because he doesn't want to play the whole game. When you're struggling, he doesn't want to do it. So just stop pretending. Stop pretending.
As well,
the miracle healing factor of wins.
Yeah, the wins make the difference. And what I didn't understand was that, okay, they needed a goal, so I understand trying to keep. But Odegaard's just come back after 3 minutes. Didn't take him off. It kept him on all the way through, and you're thinking that's how someone breaks down again. You just see how important he is. Don't kill the man. Now he's come back. So it's.
And Arteta said after the game, when he said he'd just come back, he hasn't even had a chance to train all week. So all I'm going to do is kill him. Get fit on the pitch, lad. That's what you're gonna do. You don't need training to build yourself back up to fitness. Get out there, you big wuss. It's, I'm with you.
Pressure is on them now because look, that table just shows it there. Look how tight it is, all the way from 3rd down to where we are, down in 13th. A couple of games and suddenly you're in the bottom half of the table. If Arsenal carry on this little stinky run, the pressure's going to go insane. It's
excellent, the Premier League at the moment, isn't it? When you look how tight it all is, obviously I'm enjoying it more than others because we're doing quite well at the moment. If I was down in 3rd or 4th, I wouldn't be enjoying it at all. But from a neutral perspective, this is a sort of run into the season we all really would have wanted from a neutral perspective, and that people are beating everybody. There's not a lot of predictability, if any, at all. And I think, as Fanny Fan Chris mentions, the Forest win, after having a mixture, Forest having some good games, they just go and lose, and Newcastle having a mix of form recently, and it's just up everywhere. What an exciting time to be alive, eh?
So exciting.
So exciting. I tell you, I'm on the edge of my seat every week. I'm having to wear 3 pairs of underwear because I'm just getting little driblets of excitement. I'm clarifying, I'm making it a Ewan reference.
I didn't know Darwin Núñez could excite a man so much, Josh.
Honestly, #new pants for Josh at Christmas.
Hashtag merchandise pants, branded boxes.
Leak free.
Oh, do you know what? All I can think is just comments I don't want to make, especially in light of the conversation earlier. Now, there's a line here.
Please don't.
Your face here.
Don't clip that. Don't clip that. That can't go out.
Honestly, please don't let this video go anywhere, lads. This can't go anywhere. Nowhere at all, especially not live on YouTube. And Steve wants your hands off Isaacs. Loving life there, but there it is. The Premier League table, very tight. Liverpool at the top on 28 points, followed by Man City on 23. Chelsea, inexplicably, I thought they were going to be like 18th or something this season. Chelsea are 3rd.
It's not done yet. There's only 4 points between them and 13, so let's just give it some time.
I mean, 19 points in 3rd place, Arsenal in 4th, 19 points, Forest in 5th, 19 points, Brighton in 6th, 19 points, then Fulham in 7th, 18, Newcastle in 8th, 18th, Aston Villa in 9th on 18 points, then Spurs on 16, Brentford on 16, Bournemouth on 15, United on 15. I think that's lovely. You'll get your little gangs
less
together.
Goals than City, actually. I've just realised that.
Yeah.
We've conceded one less than City.
What's mad, and so because we haven't given any credit to it, Andre Onana's kept more clean sheets than anybody in the Premier League so far.
He is my FPL keeper.
he's been crazily good. Now I still know that we still think there's a mistake or two, so we're not going to go too overboard. But compared to last season, when it was every flipping game, it seemed like in the first half of the season, I think he's an unsung hero so far. Imagine how bad it could have been without Onana.
Do you know that the difference between Sam and I was, I'm talking about weeing my pants with excitement, and Sam saying flipping. Could have been flipping.
Flipping.
That's difference in professionalism.
Got my PG head on.
I tell you
10
what,
o'clock. It's 10 minutes to go.
What a hero that man is. I'm going to try because we've gone long again, but there's just so much to talk about at the moment. It's exciting times in the Premier League, and it doubles up with the fact that I'm not watching as much European football as I should. But the slide has changed. La 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 Liga, la 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 Liga, la 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 la. Sam, anything to add? This just looks like a table from 10 years ago, isn't it?
10 from years ago. Well, the one thing that isn't there on your fixtures, there was a big one yesterday, which I only found out here today, because again, I've not been following it as closely this season. Barcelona lost a game of football. Barcelona lost a game of football to the socialites of Real Sociedad. They were 1-0 it was in the end. Becker was the goal scorer. Geraldo Becker, which is just a phenomenal name on its own. 1-0 they beat them. Injury to Lamine Yamal. He's out at the moment and seemed to be a problem. Danny Olmo only came out at halftime. He's struggling with an injury as well. So Barcelona finally went down to a defeat, which helps Real Madrid get that little bit closer from the man no longer sulking about the Ballon d'Or. Vinicius Junior with a hat-trick. He's going to try and set things right. Real Madrid have been robbed with all the things going on in the world. The Ballon d'Or is the disgrace, apparently, because they didn't win. So they're now taking it out again on La Liga. Jude Bellingham scoring as well for them. So they beat Osasuna 4-0. Osasuna, also where Atletico Madrid, a man that Manchester City could probably do with at the minute, Alvarez. Remember Alvarez? Not the actual Alvarez, but the Alvarez that they could be doing with. So 1-0, that was 1-0 to Atletico Madrid, beating Mallorca. Mallorca struggling. Valencia still at the bottom as well. It's a shame. It's a shame for them. They drew, I believe. Or am I making it up? No, it was postponed. Postponed against Espanyol, so they got some games in hand. Elsewhere, anything exciting? Villarreal are having a decent season. 3-0 for them. They're back up there. The Yellow Submarine. We all have a bit of the Yellow Submarine. And yeah, that's about it, I think. That's about it. There were some other games, but yeah, I didn't know anything about them, so leave them where they are.
I mean, very, very 10 years ago table with Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid, and then in the top three. Reminds me of days gone by. And incidentally, I don't know if Graham's chat was lagging a little bit or not, but he did touch on Havertz getting booked for Arsenal for not leaving the field because his head was bleeding. I didn't notice that. I saw 1 minute he was fine, and the next minute his head was all bandaged up. But I'm glad another Arsenal player got a card for silly things. just tickles me, that does. Syria. Does anyone watch Syria at the moment? Because I don't know what's going on over there.
No, Napoli. I think Scott McTominay scored, didn't he, for Napoli? Am I making that
scores
up?
every week, Scott McTominay.
The goal-scoring machine. He's a goal-scoring machine.
And if you thought it was tight in the Premier League, the top six of the Serie A will make you blush.
Against Inter Milan as well. He scored against Inter Milan. He's just anybody.
Oh, he's just, and I'm so pleased for him. I'm just so pleased. Some breaking news from old Driti. Just seen a notification pop up. The Coventry City owner Doug King has said Frank Lampard is a candidate to replace Mark Robbins. What a stupid decision that is.
I can add with a comment. So I won't. Obviously, we have an internal chat for the women's football team that Paul is on as well. And all I can say is he's not impressed. Paul, our very own Paul, is not happy with this appointment at all.
I have a soft spot for Coventry, given that's where my wife is from and where my in-laws live, and where I lived for half a decade. Not for me. No, get somebody with a record of doing well in the Championship and getting teams more, because that was the next step for Coventry, and that's not what Lampard's got. He's got a record of failing with Derby after having all the transfers he could have possibly wished for, then doing pap at Chelsea and pap at Everton. Not for me, that. Plus, he's a Willie.
I think it's a hard sell for Coventry City fans on the basis of what's happened with it probably wasn't the way to go, having got rid of their favourites. I think it's a bit tricky, but to play devil's advocate on the other side, I think for Lampard at least to kind of respect and say I probably need to go to the Championship next after his last Premier League job and say let's try and build something or whatever, and not go to Saudi Arabia like somebody else did after their recent failure, and maybe build themselves in English League with respect rather than going for the money and then see where it takes him. So respect to Lampard for at least that.
Yeah, just great enjoy that. Plus, he's a Willie. That's it. I mean, that's where the line is. I didn't cross that line and use like other words for it, but
you know the awards you're going to next week. You know when they do the clips of like. I'm nominated.
Plus, he's a Willie.
Yeah. Well.
He's such a Willie.
Joshua. He's a silly Willie. If Lampard's there or somebody that knows him, I'm like, hey Frank, this nobody saying about you. This bald little Welsh loser giving you grief.
The next episode, Josh is on with a black eye. It's like.
Bring it on, Franklin. It's very fun, Chris. So enjoying it. Napoli 26, and then like all the others on 25. It is true for our audio listeners. Syria is Napoli on 25, at Atlanta on 25, Fiorentina on 25 points, for Lazio on 25, then Inter on 24, then Juventus on 24, then Milan on 18, then Bolognese on 18 points. Very tight.
Very green, isn't it, at that top? Look at all the green. Look, they're all in form as well. They're all in form.
And it's quite nice at the bottom half of the table, trying to remedy that, trying to get the nice seesaw effect going on with lots of reds, lots of green, which considering that they all play each other, logically that makes sense. And I feel a bit silly saying that because that's just common sense.
This is what people come for, the analysis. Look at all the greens
somebody
and all
wins,
the reds.
Somebody loses. Who would have known?
There's as many greens as there is reds. Thank you for coming.
Isn't that lovely? And as Graham pointed out, old Lecky Utility FC, they got a point.
Not over.
Woo! That's right. And apparently Roma sacked their manager Jurek after 12 matches in charge, because why not?
Isn't that like their third or fourth manager in the space of a year?
Yeah, after
Mourinho, Rossi, Jurek.
Frank was linked there, actually. That was the other place Frank was linked with.
Well, Roma? Dear me, honestly. I all you need to do is just be a good footballer, and it doesn't matter if you're any good or not. Just get jobs, mate. I would have taken it as well. If you link with Roma, I'd be all over that. Suntan, good football you get to watch, lovely place to live. Miss out the trick. It's great. Graham's chat lagging behind. I think I'm lagging, so I'll bring you up there because I like you, Graham. That's the only reason I'm putting up with this crap. So, people said Wayne Rooney was on his last managerial saloon when he took over at Plymouth. So surely it's the same for Lampard. If he fails at Coventry, surely he doesn't get another job. Maybe you'll hit Saudi then. Maybe
he may have to. The expectations are going to be that Coventry want to go up. That's why I think they've got rid of Robbins. So it's not going to. Rooney's just got to, at the moment, not get Plymouth relegated, which is proving tough. But Coventry, he's got to start going that way.
Especially, I'm not going to get caught up on Robbins. It's the wrong show, but it shouldn't have been dreadful decision. As many fan Chris in Croatian, I'm assuming this is a copy and paste jobby. Croatian Ivan Juric, 49, was appointed in September as a replacement for Daniel De Rossi, who was only manager for 8 months after Jose Mourinho left. And Graham says, "Appreciate you putting up with my crap, Josh. You're a true friend." Well, you know, I treat my friends well. Over to the Bundesliga. Hey, Grimmy, you can laugh. I thought I was going to get an invite to the wedding, and then you just went aboard and did it so I couldn't come. And then
I got married in Atlanta. Sorry.
You jerk. Give me no. But
Yeah.
over in the Bundesliga, though, all the top teams struggled this weekend. My notes, unfortunately, are on this page over here, which I'm having to have these slides up on because StreamYard not working. So I have to try and remember what I can remember. But
look at all the green and red.
Oh, no, teams winning, teams losing. Who would have thought? Dude, let's check a couple of draws in.
So many greys. Why the greys?
But Bayern Munich, it wasn't Harry Kane that scored. It was Musiala scored towards the tail end of the game. So St. Pauli in 16th place, given Munich a real good game. And I think there's something like the 78th, 82nd minute, something along those lines, that Musiala scored for Bayern Munich. So they struggled. Borussia Dortmund losing to Mainz. A 3-1, so that was a bit of a kicker for them. I think Leverkusen drew against bottom of the table Bochum, and I can't remember which way round it was. Who scored the first goal? One of them scored really early, and one of them scored really late. This is a sort of quality analysis that we are getting nominated for. You know, it's not so women showing lower league. This we're just here as a token gesture.
We're riding on the coattails, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, somebody scored really early. So do you know what? Should I just bring it up on I got another tab here. I could just do that, couldn't I? Wouldn't that be an idea? It was Leverkusen scored in the 18th minute and Bochum scored in the 89th. So right at the tail end again. So yeah, people struggling and Leipzig drawing Gladbach. So and there we go. Chris, late to the party, mate. Late to the party, but yeah, they did. Ironically, Bochum scored late. And as Graham said, as I used to say in Hawaii 5-0, Bochum Dano. Not everybody's going to know that. Come on, no, Graham. Not all of us as old as me and you, as cultured as we are. We got Grimmy on for starters. But he's only 18, Grimmy. He looks old as shit, but he's not. He's 18 years of age.
Touché.
I'm still better.
That's a man with a wise education.
I'm joking. Incidentally, if anyone asking, I really do love Grimmy. I really do. That's why I give him all of this abuse, because it's just love, isn't it, mate?
Just as good as I get.
Baby. But so that is the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich on 26 points, 5 points behind is Leipzig, and 1 point behind is Eintracht Frankfurt, 3 points behind is Leverkusen, on the same points as Freiburg, and 1 point behind is Union Berlin, on the same points as Dortmund, who are 1 point ahead of Werder Bremen, who are 1 point ahead of Gladbach, who are 1 point ahead of Mainz, on the same points as Stuttgart, who are 1 point ahead of Wolfsburg, on the same points of Augsburg, who are 2 points ahead of Heidenheim, who are 1 point ahead of Hoffenheim, who are 1 point ahead of St. Pauli, who are 3 points ahead of Holstein Klein, who are 3 points ahead of Bochum at the bottom of the Bundesliga table. SPFL, Shah's giving it the old big shanks. Don't know if he did anything, getting prepared. I don't know. I got no idea.
I'm having a look.
Sam, do you know?
He's had a bit of a dodgy start, hasn't he? He's not really done a lot. The Hearts are having a bit of a shocker, aren't they? And he's, no, they lost again. Lost to Rangers.
No big shanks. So Graham said we need Rebecca for the SBL reports. And do you know what? Actually, I'm sure she sent me something to read.
She did send you one, yeah. She did.
She did, because it was the Rebecca Derby.
It was, as we call it, the Rebecca Derby.
Derby.
I found it. Do you want me to jump in with I found it?
Can you be Rebecca? And incidentally, it's Rebecca Derby because I can never recall which team she supports, whether it's Aberdeen or Dundee. She doesn't support both. I just don't know which one she does.
I'm not going to do Rebecca's accent because I'm too nice. But I will do a point for Rebecca as I read her thingy out. Ryan started and got another full 90. Dundee missed a penalty in the first half that would have seen them heading into halftime 1-0 up. Aberdeen came out to the second half and took control. They scored 2 within 4 minutes of each other. Simon Murray did pull back for Dundee, but Dundee just couldn't pull it back. And Aberdeen added their third in the 72nd minute, and they got their final goal in the 97th minute. Aberdeen showing why they're challenging for the top of the table. Hopefully Dundee can bounce back from 1 against Hibs.
Oh, that was beautifully well done. Beautifully well done. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And Charlotte saying in the chat, it's bad shanks. Bad shanks. And Ryan Astley starting. And Graveson just throwing some of the underscores. But look, she's there. She appreciated it Very well read.
Golf
He
clap,
does.
son.
He does reading well. He does reading very well. And over the V's, we'll just fly through some of this. Wow! Unfortunately, fell apart when they lost 3-0. Just what are you doing to us, Warwick? What are you doing? And Fortuna Shithard lost 3-1 to a peck, which is one of them little toys that you get and you pull the head back and head. No, that's Pez, isn't it? It's not that. Peck's swollen. 3-1. I forgot. I corrected myself as we went along. And anything else interesting happening? Not really that I can see it. Then PSV still scoring goals for days. So PSV is still top on 33, 5 points ahead of Utrecht, who are 2 points ahead of Ajax, who are 1 point ahead of Feyenoord, 3 points ahead of FC Twente, who are 5 points ahead of AZ Alkmaar, who are on the same points of Fortuna Sittard, and then on 16 points, 1 point ahead of Wilhelm II, on the same points ahead of Go Ahead Eagles, who are on the same points as NEC, 1 point ahead of Hilveen, who are 2 points ahead of Groningen, same points of PC Zwolle, same points of Hercules, 1 point ahead of Sparta, Rotterdam, or anyway, Liverpool or Rome, who are 5 points ahead of Almere, and at the bottom on 4 points, as Charlotte says, Warwick. And then it is time. PSG no longer exists. They're gone, spoiling the league. But Monaco at the top of League 1 on 23 points. That loser team are in third, 3 points ahead of them. The team I can never remember who that LOS is.
It's Lil.
Just say Lille. Just say it then. Just say Lille. Dear Jesus. On 19 points. Nice. With 5th on 17 points. And Rems, reams of paper or rems, however they want. You'd say it however you want to say it. On the same points Lens on 17 points. And then Montpellier are down the bottom with the Havre and Saint Etienne fighting it out with Angers and Nantes and the old Rennies down at the bottom of the table. Very tight. And Chris Grit was saying PSG have been banished. They have. Unfortunately, I've run wildly over time this evening. I've just looked at the clock and realised, God, I've got to be out of the house now in 10 minutes. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Samuel, obviously, people are going to want to watch me because they're like, who is that buffoon? But that handsome man in the Bayern Munich top, who's that guy? I want a little bit of that.
I'm feeling rather, I was moving, I feel sparkly. This is what it must feel like to wear a sparkly dress. Maybe I'm getting ready for the FCAs and my sparkly dress, you know.
Where are you going to be, Sam?
Where am I? I am on @SamAbsoluteFBL on the old Twitter sphere, and at some stage I'll get to do my own content. I do some TikTok stuff at the minute. I'll get back to doing YouTube when my house isn't falling apart and people stop asking me to do work. Then I might find some time, but at the minute it's Absolute Football podcast stuff because we've got videos, haven't we, Josh? We've been putting videos up this week. Discussions. Mark Robbins, Coventry City, Steph Horton or whatever, Houghton, I think her name is, isn't it? on the WSL chat. It was good. That's why they talk about it, not us, because they know what they're talking about her new book. And we'll clip something from this as well. A little bite-sized here, just nice bite-sized fun just before Christmas.
Oh, and Grimmy, where are you?
Who knows? YouTube, I'm Saint Grimmy, Grimmy16 on Twitter, and here occasionally whenever people allow me to be on. So yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And of course, is this going to let me share the slide? No, I can't share the slide. Thanks a lot, StreamYard. You've made it a great, enjoyable moment for me on the show. Oh, there you go. Sam's got one.
Found it.
God, that's there we go. I haven't got that one. That's a new one for me.
If you not got
I tell you what, honestly, I don't even have my own shit, you know. Join us over at Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, where Sam and Charlotte do most of the tweeting. It's much more professional and informed. Subscribe to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge. It'll make your life a better place. Oh, it'll feel so good. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Twitch, why not watch on Twitch as well? On the TikTok boom at Absolute Ball Pod, and on Instagram threads, Absolute Football _. Yes. And then Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. On Mondays, as you are here, as you will notice, Premier League, and we do something about European football. I'm not totally sure how you would classify what our European coverage is. We mention it, and it gets talked about, but hashtag Team Chaos on Wednesday to all things women's football. If you like women's football, if you don't like women's football, if you want to know about women's football, but you're just not sure where can I find about women's football, that is on Wednesday, hashtag Team Chaos. And Charlotte is loving a bit of Sam, the FPL man. She wants him with the rowdy wabble on Thursdays.
January transfer window. January transfer
from
window
the Championship down, all of those leagues. And Graham saying more clips and Claire's accessories. Treaty's enjoying it. Hopefully she'll be on time again next week. Oh, I don't know how I could contain it. That'd be too much for me. That'd be just too much. But thank you everyone for joining us. And just remember, God loves you. Sam loves you. Grimmy loves you. And a lobster's bladder is located on the top of his head. So when he pees, it dribbles down his face. Hence the term piss-faced. TTFN and ta-ta for now.